Welcome back. It is time for another Filson catalog review. Now, I started doing these videos back 2 years ago, and I thought, yeah, you know, what the heck? I like their catalogs. They're fun to look at, and I remember seeing Nuttin' Fancy. If you remember Nuttin' Fancy, I think he's still making videos. Do a video like this with the Spyderco catalog. It was just way more fun than I thought it was going to be, and it proves that looking at the views, you guys feel the same way. Now, catalogs, you know, they're kind of a rare thing now. It seems like an old school throwback for a lot of companies to do, but Filson does it right. They do beautiful catalogs, gorgeous imagery, amazing photographs, really paints the picture of at least who you feel like you want to be when you're wearing their clothes. Now, I've definitely had my issues with Filson in the past. I think that they make some phenomenal products. The way that the company is going now is a little bit troublesome. I hope that they can right the ship, but I'm not exactly confident. So let's see what happens in this catalog. Now, spoiler alert, I have looked through this already. So anyway, guys, they start off like they did last year with some of their wool. And in my opinion, Filson's wool, which is usually from Pendleton Woolen Mills, is fantastic. Their Mackinaw wool is really some of the best out there. As a matter of fact, my little background that I have right here is their Mackinaw wool. This is one of their blankets. I have the same thing in my Mackinaw Cruiser. I love it. It's scratchy, it's itchy, it's warm, it's tough. It's just, it's durable as all get out and very warm. What more could you want in a coat? So here we have the lined wool packer coat. And actually, this is in their new striped Mackinaw wool, which I think is pretty damn cool looking. That's one of the things that they do well, is they make this stuff look really enticing. And a lot of times their patterns are very, very good. Although sometimes they're not, and we'll get a little bit into some of that later. One of the big problems here, though, of course, you're seeing this Mackinaw wool, this incredible shearling collar. It's a very bold look, and it's also $25 short of $1,000. That is a lot of money for a coat that, let's face it, a lot of people just don't need, okay? And now your needs are gonna dictate whether this is for you or not. That's a lot of money for a coat. Now, if you're looking to spend that kind of money, all right, this is made in the USA of imported fabric, which I'm not really sure. Again, they used to use Pendleton Woolen Mills wool, but if you're looking for something that is a step above this, this isn't going to be the first time I'm going to mention them, but Weather Wool makes a mouton collar jacket, which is, I think, knocking on the door of $2,000, but it's also made to order out of their wool, which I think blows this stuff away, and it's also you know, their stuff is just made without compromise. So double the price. So we're already looking at an expensive coat, and I'm telling you something that doubles the price right off the bat. I get it. There's plenty of other options that are less expensive than this, although you really won't find many with a genuine shearling collar and a decent type of wool. So if this covers your needs with double layered wool, with all the stuff you see here, I mean, this used to be $850. Now it's closer to $1,000. It's creeping up there. I would check secondhand market. Matter of fact, I would check the secondhand market for really anything Filson, because a lot of these things are out there. The Northwest wool shirt. Okay, so one of my issues with Filson is that they use their wool, but they also have a lot of cotton products which are priced the way that wool is, which is usually pretty high, but you don't get any of the benefits of wool, right? So here we have these shirts, which are $225. They are imported. They are made out of 100% wool, but if you're looking for a decent American-made wool shirt, I would suggest going to Duckworth. Duckworth makes some incredible wool shirts. I have one of their shirts. They have the Snowcrest. I think the other one is called something like the Ridge Line. Now, they're limited availability. A lot of times you have to get them when they're available, because I think that they're just made in small quantities. But, I mean, for $25 more, I would definitely go with the Duckworth versions of these. And unless you need it right now, then go ahead and get that. The Mackinaw Wool Cruiser. It is hard to punch a hole in the Mackinaw Wool Cruiser. I just think that it does what it does better than anybody else out there. I love, mine is fantastic. As a matter of fact, it was the product that I offered. It was the product that I put on the table for the Motherload contest, which was just won. And the guy who won it, hopefully his will be coming to him very soon. He actually specified this color right here. Now, they do have some special colors. The green looks great. This here is a little loud for my taste, but one of the cool things about the Cruiser is that they are always coming out with new special edition models. So if this one isn't your thing, wait till next year, they'll come out with something else. The one I have is the classic red and black, like you see as my tablecloth here. I think that it just doesn't get any more classic than that. The red and black buffalo plaid is the quintessential Mackinac Cruiser color. But for a lot of people, it's definitely, it may be a little bold. Now here we have an incredible photograph, this double page spread. This is what I mean. They take a lot of time to dedicate doing things like this. This is a lot of real estate for a company to put into a catalog, but this is the kind of stuff that you get when you get their catalogs. They are just beautiful. This little excerpt here from a book, it looks like, from Swallowed by the Great Land, 2015. So cool book, I guess. I don't know. I never read it. Okay, here we go. The 125th Archival Mackinac Cruiser. Okay, so this is this is $800. The only difference is the patterns. And I really am not a fan of this patchwork look where it looks like they took the sleeve off of one Mackinac Cruiser. The other, it's kind of a mix and match, okay? Some people might like that look, and I'm not judging. If that's your thing, that's cool. To me, this almost looks like those old Volkswagens. I think it was called the Harlequin or something, where they just took a whole bunch of different colors and put it together, and it caught your eye for sure. But for me, it's not worth the upcharge. I mean, it's same stuff, right? Same stuff as this one right here. 26 ounce wool, all the good stuff that you come to expect from the Mackinac Cruiser, but this is $500. This one's $800. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that be for right now. But that's me. Some people might see this and say that's the one I want, and then they'll go ahead and get it. Holy moly, is that one hell of a fire inside of like I don't know what he's doing there. Some sort of reflection wall that surrounds you. I don't know. This guy probably knows what he's doing way more than I do, so how can I complain? Anyway, Mackinac wool field pants. I didn't think much of wool pants until I got a comment from someone who said that they are great because they're quiet. So I would imagine if you're hunting, if you're out doing bushcraft or anything where you really want to keep quiet, that's probably not a bad idea. Now, I know Big Bill offers some of these. I would imagine the finishing isn't quite on par, but you're also looking at paying $445 for this pair of pants. Now, it's wool, and it's made in the USA, so it's done right, but that's a lot of money. Now, the Mackinac wool anorak. This is definitely one that I wanted to jump into because I just reviewed the Weather Wool Al's anorak, which looks very, very similar to this. As far the design is extremely similar. This looks like it has a shorter hem. This one here, though, is $490, and the Weather Wool anorak is closer to $625. Now, that being said, I'd go with the Weather Wool. This looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, but the Weather Wool just had so many incredible features, and without really seeing this one in person, it's hard to say that it doesn't have them. You can't really tell from the outside here, but Weather Wool had hidden pockets and all kinds of crazy stuff that, you know, this one doesn't even have like sleeve closures, you know. So if you like this style, that's not a bad price. I mean, it's pretty expensive, $500 for that. But if you're willing to pay for that, I would go the extra mile and get the Al's anorak. Now we got this George Clooney looking dude staring right at us as he's splitting a piece of wood, which is a little off-putting. When I first saw that, I didn't get sleep for a few days. That just creeps me out right there. Anyway, back to some of their wool. Now, I think it's smart of Filson to start off their catalog with their wool. After all, that's what most people know them for, in my opinion. That's what they do best, aside from their luggage, which is also very good, especially when it's in the rugged twill. But I have something similar to this. It's actually a liner, which goes into my other vest, and I love it. It's just great. It doesn't have all these pockets. It has a little bit of, you know, some different stuff, similar collar, but these things are great. And let me explain something else. When it comes to work, you know, like this is the lined Mackinac wool work vest. Okay, who's going to work in a vest that's, you know, $300 or some pants that are $450? I mean, especially these right here. I wish I had the stones to pull those off. But, you know, I'll tell you this much. I have taken in countless armloads of wood in my Mackinac Cruiser. It was my father's before that. If you're not doing anything that's oily or dirty, especially with a liquid, right, grease, that kind of thing, where it could soak into this wool, this stuff is incredibly resistant to abrasion, cuts, scrapes, and stuff like that. It's great for work, as long as it's the kind of work which lends itself to that type of fabric. And like I said, doing this kind of thing, yeah, this wool is just fantastic for that. It really is. Definitely workwear, earns that workwear name, in my opinion. Okay, the lined wool cape coat. Now, I'll tell you what, this is actually a pretty solid looking coat right here. It's not cheap, $650. It is made in the USA. We have their Mackinaw wool on the outside. Their cape coat usually uses a double layer over the shoulder, and the bottom is kind of similar to a Mackinaw Cruiser, although these are side entrance pockets rather than the top with the flap. Still, I think a lot of people would like this a lot, and especially because it has this Primaloft polyester fleece lining, which is really, really cozy. I think that if you put this thing on, it would take a lot to get you cold. In my opinion, this is, I haven't really found anything else that quite does this, all right? But if I'm looking to spend $650 on a coat like this, I would start looking at something else, which maybe is a little bit different, okay? But hear me out. This is a wool coat with this Primaloft insulation. Haven't found anything else that's really like that, but the first thing I thought of when I saw this insulation is some of the deck jackets that are out there, the N1 deck jackets. Denim 1920, a great American company, I think up in Portland, I believe, makes one that looks just peerless. It's amazing. It's also $1,300. Of course, Ironheart makes a great N1 deck jacket. I believe it's alpaca wool lined, like an alpaca fleece kind of thing. And that's pretty incredible. Of course, that's also expensive at $750. But here's the other one I wanted to tell you about, and that's UES. UES is one of my favorite companies that I've discovered this year. I know they've been around for a little while. A little bit late to the post. What can I tell you? They make a fantastic looking deck jacket for $450. Now, again, they're not exactly the same as this. Usually they don't have a wool exterior. But when I saw this, and I thought of all the things that I liked about it, an N1 deck jacket would do that, and then maybe some more. So this is I think this is probably one of their most exciting products that they've come out with, as far as a function standpoint. But if you're going to go with this, ask yourself what you like about it, because an N1 deck jacket might be better off. Okay, so we have some leather palm wool, Mackinaw wool mittens, $185. That's a lot of money. In my opinion, that's just too much money, but either way, okay. And here we have a travel kit, which is more or less a DOP kit. And if you're gonna go something like this, which is okay, so this is a water resistant, nearly indestructible. This bag will carry travel essentials through the harshest environments for generations. Two interior, lined with water resistant nylon, vegetable tan, bridal leather, and reinforcements. It's rugged twill, which is one of my favorite fabrics of theirs. Here's the problem, though. It's made in the USA with imported material. It's $165. That's a lot of money for that, especially when Bradley Mountain is offering one that's very, very similar for, I think, maybe $99. And small company, all that stuff. I would go with Bradley Mountain. Now, $50 for a wool beanie. You could do better, but that's not too bad, especially if you like the colors and you like the Filson logo. You know, it's not too bad. Some more wool caps, original lined goat skin gloves, $150. You can get something very similar over at Sullivan Glove for quite a bit less than that, made in the USA, like I said. Whereas these here, they are made in the USA. So I wonder who's actually making their gloves. I don't think this is a product that they make on their own. I think this is a licensee, right? Everyday crew socks, $30. Merino wool, okay, cool, but I would still always go with Darn Tough Vermont. They have never once failed me. It's hard to argue with that for sure. Okay, their 4GG and 3GG crew neck sweater. I gotta tell you, I kind of like these. They're made in Scotland. It would take some digging. Okay, 100% wool, $325 for the 4GG, $315 for the 3, and so I'll tell you what. That's not all that bad, and I do like some of these colors, although I'll bet you that you could search around a little bit and you could find something that's a little bit cheaper for what you're getting here. Although, I think that these being made in Scotland, 100% wool, looks like they're pretty solid. So even though they are expensive, probably still a solid buy. Look at that picture right there, that pup. My God. Fantastic photography. Whoever is in charge, that's a little note for myself. Whoever's in charge of their photography really does a great job incorporating more women into it as well, which is always a good thing to see. Looks like she's doing some ice skating, which is pretty cool. Why not? Now, the Mackinaw wool bibs, all the benefits, like I mentioned before. My little sticky note there was about the Big Bill version, which is $180 made in Canada, whereas these are $500. Now, ask yourself, is it easier or better to get 3 pairs or maybe 2 pairs and a shirt or something like that of the Big Bill version? Or do you go with these right here? I'll tell you one thing. I don't think that you could find this coloration anywhere else, and it looks like they are really well made, but I've heard good things about the Big Bill stuff. So, you know, I mean, where's the smart money spent? I think that this is just a lot of money when there is a competitor out there. This wool pullover right here, $225. I mean, again, it's wool, so it's going to be expensive. But really, depending on what you're using it for, I mean, wool has its benefits, no doubt. If you're using it as a mid layer, though, I think there are other options which maybe aren't wool that would be good, especially if you're using a base layer, mid layer, shell layer kind of combination. Either way. Now, I wanted to talk about this too. This is the double Mackinaw wool cap. I had recommended the Stormy Chromer version of this as an alternative. Thank you to the people who were watching last year who told me that the difference is that Stormy Chromer doesn't actually use sheepskin shearling for their ear flaps. They use like a polyester. And so in that case, I'd say that, you know, these have to be cozy as all get out. I mean, how do you go wrong with that, right? Those are definitely nice and warm. And, you know, if you like the Elmer Fudd look, these are probably great for you. Now, American Trench does offer one, and I think that they're actually a little bit more expensive. But, you know, I mean, there's some options out there, but not many when it comes to ear flap caps. I love this. Love the photos of the look at the eyes on these guys. My God, that is so cool. All right, so here we are. The Alaskan Guide shirt. This is one of the products that I get a lot of people who say they love them. A lot of people really dig their Alaskan Guide shirts. $145, though, in my opinion, for a cotton flannel that is imported. I'll tell you what, your money could go a lot further elsewhere. Then again, if you like this cut, if you like what the features are here, then that's fine. The first thing that comes to mind when I look at these, especially with their sort of besom pockets and everything like that, is the Patagonia Farrier shirt, which I think is $75. That is my favorite work shirt of all time. It's not a flannel, but it does come in some of the flannel colors as far as their plaids and everything like that. And they're just great. Metal buttons, all that. Fantastic stuff. You will never find another pattern like this, though. That is, I'll tell you what, this is so funky that it's almost cool. I mean, just for that pattern alone with all the animals on it and the bear prints and stuff like that, I would probably rock that. I don't know. I think it's just kind of neat. My 2 cents. How did they get my picture? No, anyway, so they got, oh, this guy has hair. Forget it. No, that's not me. Now, the Down Cruiser Parka. Let's look at the specifications on this one right here before I make a recommendation to an alternative. So this is $695. It is a 11-ounce, 100% cotton oil finish shelter cloth, which is, I think, they're mid-tier as far as their durability goes. The top is the tin cloth, shelter cloth, and then I think it's cover cloth after that, which is more or less just a waxed poplin cotton. But this one here is their cover cloth, 2-ounce nylon, 650 fill power goose down, 16-ounce, 100% wool something or other. Maybe it's a liner or something, 75% wool rib knit. They don't tell you what these components are, which is too bad. And it is imported. And the price on this guy is about $700, so $695. Alternatives to this, because this is a classic looking down parka, okay? So you can get a lot of tech wear out there, which is usually in very bright colors. And a lot of people who are looking at this are saying, I like that because it's more subdued. I mean, look at this dude. He's rocking a freaking, you know, a log on each shoulder, looking very concernedly over at his camp or whatever. Most likely, probably just the photographer, but whatever. And, you know, this is what they're after, not necessarily going out skiing with their ultralight featherweight stuff, right? So what are your options? Well, the first one that comes to mind is a company called Rocky Mountain Featherbed. They have a B911 parka, which is $1,224, but it does offer some upgraded features. It's still in this same kind of heritage look, but I think, in my opinion, a stronger offering. And then, of course, there is the Crescent Downworks Classico Down Parka for $744, so not much more than this, and actually quite a bit more as far as what you get in the parka itself. Now, it's hard to argue with this because, again, what Filson does and what they do best, in my opinion, is offer a combination of products which is really, really hard to find. So finding a heritage-style parka like that is pretty difficult. So, you know, if you like this and you like the colors, go for it. I don't think you're going to regret it. But the problem is a lot of times Filson's, their prices have a tendency to really creep up very quickly. The Down Cruiser. Okay, so there is the Mackinaw Cruiser, but built up without their wool, which is, you know, probably the biggest selling point, in my opinion, and the price doesn't go down. So that's still $500. It's 8-ounce cover cloth. You know, Is that worth it to you? I think that's an overpriced piece right there. The down cruiser vest, $350. Down isn't cheap. There's no doubt about that. But when it comes to down and things like this, I think that without the look, okay, if you don't like this heritage kind of look, you're better off going with some of the tech wear companies. They just do it best. So if you're looking at whether it's Patagonia or whether it's Mountain Hardwear or Arc'teryx or something like that, a lot of times they really put a lot of thought and effort into what they make. Same thing here. Okay, so this is a 325 down puffer jacket. I never liked this look, but if it works as far as keeping you warm, it's hard to argue with. But that's a lot of money for an imported. I mean, yes, it is goose down, but I think again you could find better prices elsewhere. Just check your local EMS or REI or something like that, and you'll find some alternatives. The limited edition handmade sweaters. This is something that they do, which I guess I just don't quite get. Okay, I mean, these things look chunky and warm as all hell, but these prints and stuff like that, it's the very retro look, which I think is kind of the appeal to some people. I would never wear this, but that doesn't mean that it's not good. These are expensive though. I mean, $650 for these jackets. Jackets? No, I mean that's a jacket price, but these are sweaters. In my opinion, the Denim 1920 sweater jacket 2.0 is a better buy for less money. But then again, that doesn't have all the handmade details, which is what you're paying for here. But as far as a shawl, collar, cardigan type of sweater, I think that's a better bet overall. But still, again, if you're buying one of these, you're buying it because of the design, and I can't think of anything else out there that does what this does right here. Okay, the Buck Creek Camp shirt. This is interesting because this is a corduroy shirt. Corduroy has sort of enjoyed a bit of a comeback lately. I like it a lot. I think it's a great hard-wearing fabric. As a matter of fact, a lot of the very first workwear out there was corduroy. It's warm, it's durable, depending on the wale, which is how thick the ribs are, if you will. How wide those are. The finer they are, the more dressy it is. The wider they are, the more of a workwear kind of thing it is. And these aren't too bad. The price actually for what you're getting here is okay. They're imported. But there is a company out there called Save Khaki that makes a pretty nice looking corduroy shirt. You can find a lot of different ones too, but oftentimes like that Save Khaki, I think is $245. You really won't be able to find them for much less than this. A company called United by Blue used to make a great overshirt out of corduroy, which was, a lot less than this. But the problem with them is that a lot of times they make something, they sell out, and they don't make it again. So I actually snagged two of them, and they were just over $100. So you got to do some digging, but you could find them. Again, that kind of Harlequin look. I mean, rock that with your limited edition $650 Mackinac Cruiser with all the different patterns on it. That's a look. There's no doubt about that. Okay, here we have the rough out leather short cruiser jacket. This to me almost looks kind of like the welding jackets that you can wear to keep welding slag off of you and stuff with the external rivets and all that. Now, what's interesting is, it's the short cruiser, which means that these top pockets are similar to the Mackinac Cruiser, but it doesn't have the bottoms. So this has the slash pockets. So it's a kind of, again, it's the short version, right? The problem is, though, this is, okay, I think that this is a product that people might think they like, but a lot of times in practice, it's a bigger fit. I don't think this is their Alaskan fit. I don't know if it says it anywhere. It is made in the USA. Here's the problem. Do you see that price right there? $1,450. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Okay, for that money, not exactly the same, but I think Iron and Resin makes a goat suede jacket in their rough out collection for about $359. Shot also makes some of these for a little bit more than that, but still about half with their cowhide rough out jacket. I think it's just shy of $900. And of course, there's the Satchel and Page Montgomery, which is one of my favorites. And that's rough out. I think it's waxed rough out, as a matter of fact, for $685. This is a workwear jacket, though. It's definitely, like I said, the first thing I thought of when I saw this was the welding protection gear that you can get. And if you like this look, I haven't seen anybody do it yet, but somebody should take one of those things and just rock it, because it's a heck of a lot cheaper. For this amount of money, you could have something like this commissioned and made exactly the way you want it to. Okay, a Sherpa fleece jacket. I think that, when it comes to fleece, this is a wool fleece, which is really cool, but it's also $300. A little bit too much for me. Dry tin pocket, five pocket pants. $155, no thank you. I will stick to my traditional workwear. Again, you know what? Name them, right? Carhartt, Dickies, whatever. Duluth. You can get something very similar. Makes really no difference. Sporting gloves, very nice, $80. No thank you. Now here's something that I actually think they do well, and I've had a hard time finding myself, which is a really thick and chunky wool fisherman sweater. I haven't really put my hands on these yet, but $455, that, you know, and that's a lot of money for a sweater, no doubt about it. But if you're looking for a cable knit fisherman sweater, they're actually kind of hard to find. You could find them very thin, but the original really thick ones, which they at least appear to be in these photos. I mean, you know, photos can be deceiving. It looks like they've actually done a pretty good job. You can get a matching beanie if that's your thing. But some of the things they do right, like I said. The wool packer hat, I have one of these, love it. It has gone up in price. I think when I bought it, I believe it was $85. Looks like they're getting $115 for it. I have the charcoal version, and it's my favorite thing to wear when I'm out snowshoeing or something like that, where you want the added protection of a brim, but also the heat of a wool hat. It really does a great job. Looks like we have a couple caps here for $75. Looks this is a pretty neat looking old retro style cap. I like that. Pair of boots, you know, you can get a pair of muck boots or something like that, but these are $195. Filson sometimes does collaborations. They did one with Whites a while back where they just more or less took a Whites product and then put their name on it, you know, and I think they added some of their material in there and then, you know, upcharged you $100. So sometimes I think the best thing to do is if you see something like this, like their collaboration with Extra Tough, if you don't necessarily need the Filson logo or the Filson colors, go and check out Extra Tough, and I'll bet you could find something very similar to this for a lot less. So you're paying a lot for the name where, you know, the product itself is available elsewhere. The crew neck guide sweater, I think, again, 100% merino wool. That's pretty nice stuff. It's $550. So again, no thank you. A lot of money. Scout shirt, have one of these. Very thin. I don't really like it very much. 4 ounces, which is cool because, you know, it's okay. It's I just said I didn't like it, but anyway, it is pretty good because if you want to wear it when it's getting a little bit warmer, it's good, or like a layering piece. But $125 for an imported shirt of 4 ounces, no, I'll go somewhere else. Here we go. Now we're starting to get into my wheelhouse a little bit. Now the tin cloth foul weather hoodie. Their tin cloth, as I mentioned earlier, is their toughest material, and if you like Filson stuff, you know, it's going to be hard to go wrong because this is a you know, it's a burly jacket. It's a great work jacket. But what you're looking for is a work jacket, you're not going to pay $445 for a mass-produced piece, in my opinion. I just think that's a waste of money. There are other products out there like the Heat Straps Chief Coat, which at one time was a lot less than this. Unfortunately, their prices have gone up just like everything else, it seems. But it's 100% made in the USA coat. They are the burliest, thickest damn thing that I've ever felt. It's just amazing. So this oil finish tin cloth is 14 ounces. The Heat Straps material is, I think, 18 ounces. And after it's waxed, it's something like 24 ounces. So it's incredibly durable. It's amazing. And it's lined in some New Jersey quilted nylon kind of stuff. It's very warm, very durable. When it comes to a work jacket, I just think that they have it all over, you know, a company like this. And now I think they're $500 for the Heat Straps version. But again, you know what? If you're going to spend $445, what's $50 more and getting yourself a heck of a lot more? Now, they don't come with a hood. So if you need a hood, that might be a deal breaker for you. But yeah, and I can't help but notice that this really follows the Carhartt Action Jack or Active Jack, I think, formula. You know, with the pockets and everything, and it looks a lot like that jacket, and you can get those in very, very warm versions. So if that's what you're looking for, you could spend half of this and get yourself a Carhartt version as long as you have no problem with the company. The oil finish excursion bag, I don't know. It's okay. Oil finish double tin bibs. Again, look for workwear companies out there, but I will tell you this much, especially listening to guys like Wrangler Star, who have spent some time in the Forest Service, who love their tin pants. I've heard they're just amazing. So it's hard for me to say because I haven't worn these in their intended purpose, which I think is a lot of forestry and logging and that kind of thing, because they're also, you really can't wash them. All right. So these are pants that you can't wash. Okay, just let that sink in, right? So, I think that again, if this is something that you're going to be wearing, similar to this, where you would probably wear as an outer layer over some base layers or something like that, maybe it's a great idea, but still, that's just a lot of money. Their tin cloth work jacket, okay? Here we have, let's see, it's a 14 ounce. Yep, this is the same kind of tin cloth. Looks like it has some cover cloth in there as well. It is imported and it's $350. Now, there are a couple of options to this jacket right here. Again, beyond the classic workwear companies that you're probably familiar with, there's a company called Tin Duck Denim that makes a trucker jacket, which is the same material that the heat straps coat and that the Ship John coat is made out of, that being that 18 ounce, but 24 ounces after wax material. It's really just amazing stuff. These are one of the kind of jackets that will stand up on their own if you put them in the corner, right? But anyway, that comes in at $350. If you get it with a wool liner, I don't think it's a removable wool liner. That's the Tin Duck Denim version that I'm talking about. It's $425. That is a good deal. As a matter of fact, I really want to get one of those to get a closer look at it for this coming year. But it's hard to argue with, their color combination, Filson. They really seem to just know what they're doing. A lot of gray, a lot of greens, a lot of tans, a very rugged, cool look. Again, the Alaskan Guide shirt, $145. Some people love these. I hear you in the comments. A lot of people really like these quite a bit. The insulated field flannel shirt. This is something that if I were to look at getting something like this, okay, so it's a cotton chamois with a nylon lining, 60-gram Prima Loft gold. It is an imported piece for $190. I would look at a place like LL Bean. Guarantee that you can get something like this from LL Bean for about $90, something like that. And again, if you don't need the maple bark camo or this dark spruce color, and you just want to get something that'll keep you warm, that'll do it. The field flannel shirt, again, I think I've beaten that to death. Their flannel shirts are expensive, and in my opinion, there are better options out there. Here we go. There's something that everybody needs, is a good union suit. I would imagine that there are applications where these things are great. I don't need one, other than, wearing it and looking cool, I guess. But yeah, no, it's not for me. They do some really cool graphic t-shirts. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Filson does some good things. And their graphic tees, their Smokey the Bear collection is pretty cool too. So, they do things that nobody else does. Now, here we go. The Filson jeans. Now, I did a whole video about the rail splitter jeans because I was very intrigued as far as what they were doing with their denim. Now, they used to offer some selvage versions. I'm not sure if they do. It doesn't look like either of these are. They are made in the USA. They're also $195. For that price, I would go with something like the Tellison or, you name it. You could find, Brave Star, a lot of companies that are making very similar jeans for a lot less in the United States. And one of the problems, too, is if you don't get them in the solid indigo, which it looks like both of these are, you get one with some distressing on it. The problem is that they're not offered in different lengths. So the distressing, let's say there's some on the knee, and then you have to get them hemmed. Now, all of a sudden, your distressing is below your knee, somewhere on your shin, and it just doesn't look right. I was never a big fan of pre-distressing anyway, but I think that when it comes to their jeans, they do have a double reinforced bottom of the pocket. Some things they do some nice stuff in there, but it's not worth the price. Not to me, at least. Heavy duty fleece. This is their warm fleece collection. Looks like $95. Sweatpants, $120. And yeah, these are imported. For me, I'm going with the American Giant. American Giant is my go-to when it comes to anything that's like a sweatshirt type of thing. I just love their American grown and sewn kind of attitude. I think that American Giant does it better than anybody else as far as American-made stuff. I have heard great things about the 316 and a couple of other brands that I want to check out. But when it comes to sweatpants, sweatshirts, hoodies, I'll go with them for sure. That's American Giant. $100 Henley, which is, again, imported. No, thank you. I'll go with a number of other companies. You want to go top tier, go with something like Mersby Schwanen if they have them, Warehouse, you name it. You could find Henleys pretty much anywhere. And I did a whole video about good, better, best Henleys and what to look for. But in my opinion, that's just a lot of money for an imported Henley, which doesn't look all that special, let me tell you. The lined denim work shirt. Now, when we're talking about denim, you have a lot of options out there, from Naked and Famous to Brave Star to Rogue Territory to Tellison to Ironheart to Samurai. The list goes on and on and on, right? But you know, if you need a lining in there like this, then you might be a little bit more limited. Sometimes these cotton flannel lined jeans can be good. I have worn these with some success out in the field. I actually prefer to wear another layer underneath them if I really need that kind of warmth. At least you can remove it and add it if you need to. Sometimes it's like you buy something like this and it spends most of its time in your drawer, right, instead of actually being worn. But whatever. This is a shirt, a lined work shirt, a lined denim work shirt, $215, and it's imported. You can do better, no doubt about that. But again, a lot of people just like the Filson look, so if you like it, I'm not going to argue with you. Some more photographs. Cute girl playing some hockey over here. This dude's ready to go. He's all heritaged out in his waxed cotton tent with his waxed cotton pants and laying out his waxed cotton sleeping bag, I guess. I don't know, but watch cap, $50. Cool, okay. 100% merino wool base layers. I'll bet you that they're expensive for what you get. $195 looks like for the half zip. The bottoms are $130. I mean, you know, wool is expensive, but when it comes to a base layer, I think merino wool is probably one of the best materials that you can get. A little bit warmer than that would be silk, but for most of us, we're going to be just fine with some merino wool. So that's okay. The Beartooth robe. I mean, I love the coloration. I really do. This has a very Overlook Hotel vibe, if I may. It's $425. I'm sure it's very nice, but that's a lot of money for that. I actually just got one from, I think it's Upstate that makes them, and it's a terry cloth robe. I mean, how much time are you really spending in a robe? You know what I do with mine? I put it on after a shower while I'm like brushing my teeth and then picking out what I'm going to wear for the day. I don't like lounge around all day in it, but $425 for this robe. If you're looking for the ultimate present for your dad, maybe that's what it is. And some of these things are very good as gifts because they're usually pretty expensive, something that somebody wouldn't buy for themselves, but, you know, would make a very good gift. Okay, here we are. Last page. Thank you for sticking with me through this whole thing. This is going to be a long video, but I hope that you've had some fun hanging out with me in this completely unscripted format. The Filson Rugged Twill Duffels. No, the Filson Rugged Twill is a solid bet, in my opinion. I really do like it. I think it combined with their bridal leather is just a winning combination. The original briefcase is a good one. I think that their large duffel gets a little bit wonky as far as like the way it's built. But when you go with the medium or the small, especially the small, I like them a lot. Now, the old ones that they used the Talon zippers in, that's the cool thing about these things, guys, is that they've been making them for so long that you can find them on the secondhand market for very, very little money. And I mean, you'll still pay a lot, but you won't pay $475 for the small, $575 for the medium, and $650 for the large. These are lifetime bags, there's no doubt about it, but you can find them for cheaper. Now, here's the Journeyman backpack. I have one of their backpacks, and it's the one with the leather straps, and I like it because it looks the part. It actually looks more like one of these, but in a backpack. When it comes to actual function, though, I like the Ruiter Tassin Overland series. I think that they've done a better job at making function and rugged looks married to one another. So that's it. That is the Filson catalog review of this year. I really, really hope that you enjoy that. I enjoy going through these things. It's so much fun, and this is a fun, like, unscripted thing to do with you. So, you know, I hope that you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.